Hello there, welcome to Sightline. Today we are going to talk about the Ulaanbaatar International Media Art Festival. And today I have Ms. O.Odgerel. She is the Director of Art Council of Mongolia, and Ms. B.Nomintuya. She is the Director of Ulaanbaatar International Media Art Festival. So hello, thank you for accepting my request to have an interview.
Thank you for inviting us.
First of all, I would like to ask about the importance of this festival.
So, Arts Council of Mongolia's main mission is to contribute to sustainable development of Mongolian arts and culture and preservation of cultural heritage, and we have implementing this mission through different programs. And one of our main programs is arts program, which mainly supports artistic collaborations and artistic innovative projects, as well builds capacity of artists of Mongolia. So in this regards, the International Media Arts Festival has been implementing for the fourth year now. And when we initiated this festival back in 2016, idea was to introduce new innovative media artworks to Mongolian audience, and as well build capacity of Mongolian artists with introducing and inviting different new media art projects. So because we are now living in the area of digitalization and technology development, so art is the one crucial part of this development. That's why in the 21st century it is necessary, or it's in a design, or it's in a fashion to combine technology with new media and video and sound art. And that's why it was creative idea to introduce such a festival to Mongolian audience.
And maybe it's really interesting for our viewers that what actually media art festival is. Media and art, maybe it's really interesting.
Yeah, media, because we used to see the exhibitions with ordinary exhibitions like hanging paintings on the walls. No narratives or no innovative ideas behind, but when the technology media combines with art, it may cover very global questions in terms of concept-wise, in terms of the artistic excellence-wise. It combines many different parties included. Like video makers, a voice like sound artists, and then as well science and technology, as scientific, the earth, environment, health issues. So this media art doesn't have any limits to express artistic excellence. That's why I think it's totally different than its really usual exhibition. Yeah.
So Ms. B.Nomintuya, let's talk about the organization part. How many artists are featured in this festival, and how long it will take?
So the fourth edition will take place from June 21st to July 7th. So this year we're expanding the festival out, the scope. So that's why we're going to have 46 artists from 14 different countries. So it's a quite large scale that we're organizing this year. And then of course we're expecting artists and curators this year under the theme of migration, because every year the festival focuses on a specific theme. And of course we started with tradition and modernity, where traditional art meets the science and new technology. And the second year was about trace, which looks at digital trace, because when we visit a website or anything that we're using in the scope of a technology, we always leave a trace behind. It's the IP address that you log in, or because we may not be seen it visibly, but it's a trace that you're leaving behind. So we really looked at that topic on the second year. And the third year we looked at just what Ogi mentioned, the boundaryless aspect of media art, because there is no limit to how it's going to be expressed, what kind of media is going to be used. So that's why we focused on this theme, but this year we're looking at migration. Migration is such a global topic these days. We're looking at a lot of, especially if you look at it globally, it talks about a lot of refugee issues in the world. But under the migration, the festival is looking at migration specifically Southeast Asia, Mongolia, and US, because I think it's one of these countries. These countries already have a migrative practice and migrative history with Mongolia, so that's why it's, I think, a very interesting topic for the young people, but also for the world to see where migration meets, this is such a big topic, but also translated into art, but also not just art, but media art.
So how are you going to show the migration through the media art?
So the festival has 4 different aspects this year. So the first one, we're looking at the mobility part, because migration involves movement. So migration means you moving to one place to another. So we wanted to focus on this aspect. That's why we're going to have a mobile exhibition symposium on a train to Gobi. Yeah. So we're working with the Mongolian Railroad, and we're going to have 3 different trains. One is a cabin, one is a sleeping carriage cabin, one is a restaurant, and the other one is called Club. We were very surprised to discover this idea of club, which has no seats at all, but you can have many different events within the train while you're moving. So we're inviting 36 curators, artists, and filmmakers, journalists, everyone on board to share their migration story. So on the train, we'll be focusing on food migration, because when we travel, of course, it involves a lot of traveling, but also food. So we're inviting an Indian chef, Kumar Balsar, from Namaste restaurant, to talk about how he migrated North Indian cuisine to Mongolia. So I think it's going to be very interesting, and we had initial meeting with him where he talked about the Indian cuisine is based on a court cuisine that was based on the Mongol kings back in the day. So it's interesting how that history is brought back to Mongolia, and how this food migrated to Indian food migrated to Mongolia. So all the other artists who's from Southeast Asia, from Europe, US, going to share what they bring when they travel, when they migrate. So I think it's a very interesting journey of 3 days to the energy center. So everybody's going to learn about food migration, artistic migration, and there are going to be 2 specific performances at the site. One is a fire line. It's by a Chinese artist, Huang, where she talks about migration as a disruptive power, because when you migrate, you adapt a lot of things with you, but also you destroy a lot of things. So she wanted to demonstrate that with the fire line installation. It's going to be 200-meter long fire line installed and presented in the Gobi. And the second performance is by Mongolian long song singers, where we're looking at sound migration, because when we look at migration, there can be a lot of different aspects that it can migrate, and one of the artistic means of migration is sound, because when you sing, when you play music, you actually migrating a sound. So we're looking at a long song singing, which is a quite amazing of art form that it's initiated and originated here, and we wanted to show that as a part of the mobility.
the theme of this year's festival is really interesting, migration, and also it is organizing here in Mongolia in a nomadic lifestyle country. And how do you think about the nomadic lifestyle and migration and about this concept, please?
So first, when we initiated the theme migration, it was the concept of to develop this under the migration of Mongolian nomad lifestyle to the city. Like people or nomads are migrating to city for looking for a good life, but in the same time destroying nomads lifestyle in a back. But when we have started developing this concept with the support of Goethe Institute Korea and Goethe Institute Mongolia, the migration concept is grown so big as a big topic, so it became a global topic, including Southeast Asian countries and US artists as well. Some European artists as well. So that's why under the concept migration, we just don't mean nomad lifestyle, it's a global theme. And then good part of the project is that we have invited UK scholar Joseph, who is developing the concept paper under the migration, which is covering Korean workers, Mongolian workers migrated to Korea for workforce. And as well, he's invited to our festival to develop our concept of migration. So working 2 years on the theme, Nomi and me, we are very happy that nowadays, today the festival is covers migration under the big concept and invites so many artists from international background. So we hope the festival will grow in the future as well. Yeah.
I would like to ask that, is it possible for ordinary people to be a part of this Times and Festival? And also I think seeing this interview, people are really wanted to be a part of the train passenger.
I mean, the train part is really for the artistic community to really talk about it on migration, talk about different research they're doing, different artworks they're producing in relation to migration. But the overall journey will be documented on a video installation by filmmaker Ikhbayar and illustration artist Bayrstad from Mongolia. So people may not be able to join the train ride, but will be able to see the final work as a part of the joint exhibition going to be organized at the MN Gallery from 27th of June to July 7th. And it's free and it's open to the public, so anybody can come in and really look at a different art and media works that it's related to Mongolia, Southeast Asia and America on the topic of migration. And it will be open every day to the public, so anybody can come in and look at it. And just to add on to this idea of why we're organizing in Mongolia, is because the stories of migration is not so much been told globally from the perspective of a nomad life, from a Southeast perspective, or any of the artists that it's presented here. We're looking at the topic, but more from the Western theory and Western philosophy. But the festival aim and the exhibition aim is to have people have their voice heard, especially like Mongolians, how you translate migration to a nomad style, nomad culture that is so embedded with migration and this idea of moving one place to another. And one very interesting work that is presented as a part of the exhibition is by the editor, the chef editor of Gereg magazine, B.Nomintuya. The project is called On the Trail of a Poet, looking at this very famous Mongolian poet, Natsagdorj, journey all the way to Berlin.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So he made this journey back in the 80s, and where he traveled through train. So his project is going to present an audio memory, because when we look at someone's memory, or we always look into like video documentation or film about him, but we wanted the audience to imagine how his journey took place, but just hearing a sound. So over the course of the development of the project, he went to Berlin and recorded every sound of the places that he lived.
Wow,
so it'd be very interesting for the audience to hear all the sounds that he traveled, you know, whether it's a town in Russia or a bar he used to go to in Berlin. So it's a very interesting sound work that we're going to present as a festival.
We know that Nasik Dorje is one of the students who went to the Western countries like Berlin, Germany. And it's really interesting. Sounds is a conversation of peoples, or it's just nature sound?
It's a combination of everything. So it's the places that he used to go, and people having a conversation, and it's people who knew him. You know, of course, most of the people who were alive when he made the journeys, but it's the descendants, so who are children, grandchildren, is talking about this journey. So I think it'd be very interesting just to hear the sound of his journey.
As we mentioned before, this Media Art Festival is really innovative in this 21st century. And how do you see the contribution of this festival in the Mongolian art branch, and Mongolian art field?
Yeah, so I think sustainability is most important part of the organizing such a festivals, and then sustainable growth of our festival, and then festival scope of the festival is plays important role in the development of arts and culture field of Mongolia as well. We think that it will be one of the creative industry products in the future to invite more visitors to Mongolia to be part of the festival during before Nadam time, yeah. As well, as maybe you probably noticed, the festival has a part at the Playtime live music festival, because Nomi and the team is inviting 3 DJs to perform at Naglihat state of Playtime, and youth development, also youth involvement, or inviting young people to the festival also plays significant role in the development of new media arts development in Mongolia. I think it's also educates young people to enjoy festival, not only like visiting the bar or like entertaining, but to be like learning and sharing, you know, observing, and yeah, like.
And also because the part of the work, part of the festival, we organize a lot of different workshops and artists talk. And a US filmmaker, he's a virtual reality filmmaker, Winslow Porter, will be organizing a workshop on how to make a virtual reality film. So I think this is where we share knowledge of a US or international artist and spreading the knowledge. So hopefully in the future we would see a lot of different virtual reality films by Mongolian artists
in our
festival.
Yeah.
Oh wow, the scope is really big, and it is a huge work I see. And also I would like to appreciate from myself that they're organizing this type of big festivals and big events here in Mongolia.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you for staying with us. We hope you enjoyed our interview. See you next time with more interesting guests. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.